Sure.
Alrighty. So I want to say hi, everyone, and welcome to Learn with Angela. I'm Angela Powers, and I'm your hostess with a passion for learning and helping those who are making the world a better place. Thanks. Thanks, Rashida. I'm helping those who are making the world a better place make better online courses. So that's why I'm here. And today I'd like to introduce you to Benjamin Powers. He is an airplane expert. He is the host of his own show, Mancrafting, where he talks about slightly dangerous stuff. And he also is a lifelong learner. And I know that firsthand. He knows a thing or two about teaching as well from his flight instruction. He also renovates old houses and can pretty much fix anything. So welcome to the show, Ben. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. If I can't fix it, I'm really good at hiding it.
So, my first question is, what is the last online course you took?
Well, we take them all the time at work. Online refresher training and stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say something totally different.
Really? Well, I've also done a couple of Udemy courses because it's a great way to just learn something you're interested in without investing a whole bunch of money. And then
you haven't been on YouTube or Coursera lately?
Oh, well, Coursera, no. YouTube, yeah. I mean, YouTube is kind of an unofficial how to do things wrong a lot of times, but that's half the fun. Interestingly enough, when I first learned, a lot of my training experience comes from being a flight instructor, teaching ground classes and teaching people how not to kill themselves in an airplane.
Which is so different. Like, I was going to ask you about that, but like before we talk about that, I was going to ask you what was, your favorite thing about the last course you took, or did you like it, or was it horrible?
Well, my last online class I took was actually an aquaponics show, kind of home gardening mixed with fish. And I thought it would be a great idea because I thought it would be less work.
Yeah.
And it turns out it wasn't. So in that way, that learning was a success. Learned a lot about it. I learned a lot about how to do it. And I kind of learned that I wasn't interested in that much work. So.
Yeah. Is it because of, well, what's the difference like between the courses you take at work and like that aquaponics? I mean,
well, one's an actual interest versus mandatory training.
Right.
Yeah.
Just curious if there's like anything that stands out, like, oh, it's horrible because, or it's great because. Like, just from the student perspective, what
student perspective? Well, when you're learning from a course you're interested in, and usually when it's kind of quirky, like aviation or aquaponics or renovating old houses or whatever you're into, usually the people who are doing the quirky subjects are the people that are teaching it because they love it, versus the corporate training, which is mandatory, read by a narrator who was paid for the job. There's no real love behind what they're talking about. So to me, that's the biggest difference between, taking some of those Udemy courses and some of those private, small weekend class that somebody's hosting on something, how to do something.
If you think back, like, on your whole life, is there like any particular favorite class you took online?
No. Probably the funnest class.
Video, like, or okay, go ahead.
The funnest class I ever took was probably a blacksmithing class.
Oh yeah, but that was in person. Like, you can't really do that online, right?
Right. So that doesn't really work.
It's more
like
dangerous.
Right. If you want to blow something up or beat metal together, it's kind of something you have to do with somebody who knows what they're doing, kind of a trade craft.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, interesting. If you want to talk about flight instruction for a second, what you can't do online either. You can't fly a plane online. You can probably do pieces of it, right? Like some of the book work and stuff, but
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. What do you think? Do you have any war stories about teaching?
More stories about teaching flight instruction.
Yeah.
I got a lot.
I don't know if we can learn anything from that for online teaching, but it would be kind of fun to hear.
Well, actually, what's interesting is there's three major components to learning how to fly an airplane. There's the physical act of doing it. There's your technical knowledge requirement, which you have to take a written test and pass that. And then there's an oral test, which you take with what's called a designated examiner, or the person who's from the FAA. And you have to show competency in all three areas. So you got to be able to talk about, whatever the designated examiner brings up. You got to be able to pass the written. For the oral, we call that the oral part of the test. And for the written part of the test, we do a lot of that online. And we back when I started, I think it was 2005, 2004, I don't remember right now. That was really when the first interactive CD courses started coming out.
Actually have this is like old school online learning, like from a CD.
Right. It was a multimedia course, and it met the requirements that, because it's a federal license, there's a lot of bureaucracy involved, but it met all the requirements for an improved training. And it was video lecture, interactive quizzes, along with some reading and stuff. And when it came to flight instruction, the most important or the most expensive place to learn was in the airplane. So what we would do is try to get the people through economically by doing as much as they could through the online stuff and through. There's lots of.
I didn't even know that. I thought it was all like in a classroom.
No, I mean, we do some of that. Usually when there's technology updates, like we've been going to. When they started transitioning more out of the old school radio instrument approaches and started switching over to, say, GPS and some of the technology upgrades that come along in aviation, which are usually way behind what's in your car. But, you got to get everybody up to speed on that stuff. So we do little weekend classes or whatever for that kind of stuff.
But most of it was online. So, I mean, talking about flying an airplane, which, has little room for error, I think. So it better be damn good training, right? Like what was it that it worked, right? I mean, it
worked very good. Yeah.
What was it about that?
Well, so
particular online training that
it was structured well, right? So, I mean, the flying is very results oriented. So you have to meet the requirements or you don't pass and you have to go practice some more. And, the way it works is you have your ground lesson training on your CDs and so on and so forth. And you just do that one, which explains everything you're going to be doing in the airplane that day. And then you get in it and you go up and you go. So there's no surprises.
Yeah, right.
So you're just building on learning the skills of what you already learned on the ground.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is it starts with, this is damn important. I need to learn this, is part of the motivation. And then the second thing was, it was structured in a way that allowed them to do that. But they're doing with the idea that I'm going to get in an airplane and actually be the pilot.
Well, a lot of the motivation,
it's really important.
Well, a lot of the motivation there is, internal. They're doing it because they really want to do it. So,
right.
When you have students that are really motivated, it's easy to teach.
Yeah. And, so that's kind of one of the things that I talk about, but hadn't really ever applied it to this particular type of class where this is life and death. Like you're behind the plane, behind the wheel.
It's not that bad. That's why instructors are there. We're not going to let you kill up. We don't really care about you, but we're not going to let you crash.
You want to live. Yeah.
But, I haven't really been flight instructing in quite a few years. I'm also a mechanic, working for a big airplane manufacturer in the Northwest. Who could that be? And we have to stay up on all our training there because everything's always changing and always rotating. But on top of that, I'm also just somebody who loves to learn new stuff. I have a million hobbies. I'm learning how to do something every week. And the structure of that is important. And
right. I mean, like you probably, like let's just pick like jacking the house, because you lifted, your house. One end of it was like 4 inches too low.
Sure.
Like 3.5 inches so far.
Yeah.
I know this because I live there too. So yeah, it's like what I know you watched like tons of videos on how to jack your house and how to build, the water levels and things like that. And you probably watched a lot of ones that were horrible.
Yes.
And, like not to the point, and, meandering potentially. Like it seems like to me, like the best kinds of courses are as close to life and death as you can get. Like this is really important to me.
Well, I don't think
also like they're specific, right? They take a question, like you have this question, how do I jack my house?
Well,
they answer that question quickly.
Right. Well, that's the big part of it. A lot of what I found when I'm trying to learn something new or I'm looking something up is people meander and wander on their videos for 15, 20 minutes when really all I need to know is about 5 minutes worth of something.
Yeah.
So judicious editing a video would be a big help.
Yeah.
On YouTube for sure. Some people, they fast forward or they do whatever. But that's peer-to-peer learning is what I like to call that sort of thing. And it's just like sitting around a campfire chatting about how to pour concrete and whatever you're into, make something fun. It's not going to be as targeted as, say, a professional instructor can do.
Right.
That's all I got there because it's really early here, people.
Yeah. Well, do you have, my last question is, do you have any like favorite books or resources?
Well, I'm a voracious reader. I also use YouTube a lot, but there's just as many people on YouTube telling you how to do something wrong as there are people telling you how to do something right. And sometimes it's really wrong. Well, you have to have enough in your head to be able to flush out the bad.
Yeah.
A lot of times there's good information and some really bad videos, but
yeah.
It's
any favorite books on courses or learning or anything that you'd want to tell people about?
On learning? Well, it depends on what people want to learn about. I don't know.
We're just learning about learning, so like.
Hey,
you don't read books like that.
You and I sit around and geek out about the learning process and how to teach. And I have some pet peeves right now with.
Ooh, yeah, tell us that.
People calling trainings or telling you they're going to teach you something, and it turns out to be a 30-minute marketing video.
Yeah,
that's really a big pet peeve of mine right now. I think learning shouldn't always be goal oriented. It should just be for the fun of doing it. It shouldn't be about money. If you want to learn how to do something, go learn how to do it, and go find the experts in that area. And it's amazing what you can pull out of somebody's head with just a quick conversation. Mm-hmm. And if somebody says it's really complicated, then they're not really an expert at it. Because really, when somebody really fully understands something and teaches it to you, it's simple. They can usually break it down into one little sentence into its simplest form and then pontificate about that one little sentence for like 4 or 5 hours. So those are the people you want to find.
Yeah.
People who really still enjoy whatever that subject is and chat about it over dinner. A lot of times you can just bribe somebody with something, dinner. You learn all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Depending on whatever your subject is, the show I'm trying to get going called Man Crafting is really just about finding people that do cool things and then, the joke is teaching me how to become a level 1 a game player and whatever they're doing.
Yeah, right.
Right, because
how to build a trebuchet.
Sure, yeah. I've got a friend who's building a trebuchet right now, and we're going to be doing a show on that. And why not throw rocks through the air?
Yeah.
If you can build it big and break it.
If anybody's listening who wants to learn how to do slightly dangerous stuff, look for Mancrafting.
Sure, Mancrafting. We should be going live in a couple months here. We're getting our shows queued up before we do that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for being on the show. It was cool.
Well, thanks for having me.
My first collab with you. All right.
Bye, everybody. Drink coffee.
I don't even know how to hit the stop button.
Oh. You're in charge of this shit.
Until next time, you were to Learn with Angela. This is Angela Powers saying, see you next time. Bye.